Okay, for this video lesson, we're going to find trig values of non-special angles. Now, non-special angles, what that means is we're going to be given angles, or we want to find angles, that aren't going to refer to 30, 45, and 60 degrees, which is what we've been working with for like the last couple weeks. So if you take a look, the front side is going to be real easy. If you just follow these directions, it's very simple. You can see right here how we have, like, number one, we have the sine of 40 degrees. Well, that's not 45, 30, or 60. Same with these others. Now, first thing you can see, let's make sure we're in the right mode. I'm just going to show you number one and number three. Actually, you know what? Everything on this video, I'm going to do just the ones that are in degrees. So let's go in degree mode, and let's show you how to do that. I think a lot of you guys really know. So again, we want to go to settings. You want to go to document settings. Then go to angle, change it to degrees, and then make sure, don't hit OK, hit make default, and then hit OK. Then you should be good to go. Okay? So now you are in degree mode, and the very first one we're going to do is this sine of 40 degrees. So I'm just going to hit A. I'm going to go to the calculate. Okay, so I'm just, right, if I look at this, I am going to the trig button right there, and then I just hit sine, and I just put in 40. And it gives you that answer there of that 0.642788. So this is your answer. That's it. 40 degrees, I know that's in the first quadrant, so it should be positive. So this, I'm just going to put down the answer. I'm going to round it to 3 places, so I'm going to put 0.643. So that's my answer. Okay, next one. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do 312 degrees. Before I even do it, let's make sense. Let's put some meaning behind it. Remember when we did this, the all students take calculus? Okay, this is in the fourth quadrant. So in the fourth quadrant, only cosine and secant are positive. So this should give me a negative answer when I put in tangent of 312. And let's see. It should give me a negative. Let's put it in the calculator right now. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit trig. Now I move over to tangent. Hit enter. Okay, I'm going to put in 312 because I'm already in degree mode. Hit enter. And there it is. You get a negative. So that's the answer right there, is this, that negative 1.1. If I round this to the nearest thousandth, it's negative 1.111. And it was negative because it's in the fourth quadrant. That's pretty much all you do. Now make sure when you do these ones, you hit sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, or cotangent. Don't hit inverse. On the back side, when you find the angles, that's when you have to hit inverse. Okay? So let's go to the back side. Okay, so if I go to the back side, all right, let me erase everything that I just did. Let's see if I can erase this. Good. Okay. So the back side right here. Now, again, I'm still in degree mode. I'm going to do number one, and when I do this, this is what I'm going to have to hit. I'm going to hit inverse sine. Now, actually, before I do that, it says determine the correct quadrant. Now, when we did this inverse trig, most of the ones that we did, we got two answers. Okay, the answer was in two quadrants. Again, I can rely on, I'll still draw it up here, my old trusty all students take calculus. And I know this is what, sine? So sine is positive in the first quadrant and the second quadrant. That's where it's positive. See how this value here is positive? So my answers for number one is going to be in the first and second quadrant. Now, the unfortunate thing about any calculator, it can never give you two answers. It only gives you one answer. It's always going to wind up giving the answer that's in the first quadrant, the reference angle. So let's do that. Now, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to hit inverse sine. So let's see here. So we're going to go to our trig button. Okay, and if I go to trig button, now I'm going to hit not just sine, but inverse sine. And I put in that 0.4621. Okay, hit enter. Okay, and that's the answer in the first quadrant. It only gives us the reference angle. So let's get rid of this here. Okay, so in the first quadrant, it gave us this 27.5. That's one of the answers. Remember I said that the answers were in quadrants 1 and 2. So quadrant 1, it's 27.5 degrees. Now to get it in the second quadrant, well, second quadrant, it's got to be 27.5 degrees from the x-axis. So this is where we do 180 minus the reference angle of 27.5. And I'm going to do that next on the calculator. So if I do that next on the calculator, okay, I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put in 180 minus the reference angle. So I'll just put the answer, which is 27.5. That's the other answer, that 152.5. Okay, so I'll circle that. These are the two answers for this problem. 27.5 degrees and 152.5 degrees. Here I just round to the nearest tenth. So here you get the two answers. Okay, the other one that I'm going to do, I'm going to do number 3. So when I do this, I'm going to hit inverse tangent of 2.65. Now let's first figure out the quadrant. Okay. Now if I want to figure out this quadrant, tangent, now this is positive, tangent's positive, I'm going to put here in the first quadrant and the third. So my answers, I should know this before I even put it on the calculator, are in quadrants 1 and 3. Now let's put an inverse tangent of 2.65. Let's see what happens. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to go to trig. I go over to inverse tangent now because I want to find the angle. All right, then I put in the 2.65. 2.65. I hit enter. All right, there's the answer in the first quadrant right there. So this is one of the answers. That's 69, let's say 69.3 degrees. So this is the answer in the first quadrant. Now to get the third quadrant, now I'm past 180 degrees. So I have to add that reference angle, 69.3 to 180. So I'll try to squeeze this in. I'm just doing 180 plus that 69.3. Okay, I'm going to do this on the calculator next. All right, so I'm just going to take that answer and just add 180 to it and hit enter. There's the second answer right there. Okay, it's tough to see. Okay, so there it is. There's the second answer. This 249.3. So my two answers, let's move this over. My two answers for this are 69.3. I just kind of erased it. 69.3 and that 249.3 degrees. All right, so I kept everything in degree mode. The biggest thing, it takes a little bit of thinking for the backside because you have to know which quadrants that the angles are positive or that the trig values are negative. Front side should be easy. You just put it in. Okay, we'll do more work tomorrow with when it's in radians. Probably spend more time on the back than on the front.